This segment is sponsored by GBMC Healthcare.
Well, heart disease is typically the leading cause of death in the United States, as approximately 600,000 Americans die each year. Well, February is Heart Health Month. Joining us from GBMC's Health Partners Primary Care in Jarrettsville is physician assistant Christopher Toth. All right, thanks so much for joining us. Now, tell our viewers, what should people be on the lookout for as far as heart health goes?
Sure. Well, thank you very much for having me this morning. So as far as heart health goes, biggest things, we break it down into modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. So as we age, what we look for is, do you have a family history of any sort of cardiovascular disease? That's the first thing. We can't change anything there. Your family history, we can't change. So the next things we look at are things like cholesterol, your body mass index, your blood pressure, and of course, your blood sugar. Those are the things we watch out for. And with respect to symptoms of heart disease, that can really be variable to some extent. We look for, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, talk to us about high cholesterol. I didn't realize that you weren't done.
Yeah, absolutely. So with respect to high cholesterol, we have some set guidelines that we look at. Generally speaking, we like to keep good control of our LDL, aka our bad cholesterol, and we like to have good levels of our good cholesterol, aka our HDL. And there are a couple different ways to do that. The first, easily, is through diet and lifestyle modifications. Then in conversation with us, we can make modifications if we have to.
Okay, so talk to us about clinical lifestyle evaluations, what it is, why we need them.
Absolutely. So clinical lifestyle evaluations kind of look at the whole person here. We incorporate things like your lifestyle, what you're doing on a daily basis. Are you sedentary? Are you active? How much physical activity do we get involved in each day? That type of thing. Other lifestyle things we look at are, what does your diet look like? Are we consuming a lot of saturated fats? Are we having a lot of fast foods? Things like that. And we blend that in then and obviously look at the cold hard numbers at the end of the day.
And so you talk about the numbers. Can you explain what the blood pressure numbers mean, the difference between the top and the bottom numbers? What do they represent?
Certainly. So with respect to blood pressure, goal, generally speaking, is keeping our blood pressure under 140/90.
Okay.
Now, there are a couple special circumstances, but that's a good kind of blanket rule. The top number, so in our case, 140, that represents the systolic blood pressure. And the systolic blood pressure is actually the point of pressure when your heart is in full-on contraction. So when it makes that first full beat, that pressure is the top number. As the heart relaxes, like my hand, that number represents our diastolic pressure. And that is actually an assessment, interestingly, of the pressure that's going through the coronary arteries, the blood supplying the heart.
All right, so much information. Thank you so much for joining us today, Christopher. We know where to find you. I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for having me.